All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. Sorry about that. So, today we are going to be talking about building credit. Okay. Now, I know a lot of you guys, are like 17, 18 years old. And you might not, it may not seem like this is a big thing, but you can ask your parents, your grandparents, your, an uncle, an aunt, somebody you trust who's older, who's, in their 20s and above, and they'll tell you you need to have good credit. It is important. Um, and Today I'm going to show you little tips on that. What it is, how it works, and little tips to help you go up. Okay, so let's go ahead, excuse me, and start. So here's your warm-up picture. The first question asks you what's going on here. Okay, to analyze the picture and explain what's going on. Be sure you read the caption, the little writing on the bottom. Be sure you read that first, okay, before you answer the question. The second one says, what would you do if you were in that situation? What would be your initial reaction? What would go through your mind? How would you react to that? Okay, so again, you have to read the bottom in order to understand. Okay, so if you just are not watching this video, you're just like pausing it, just writing whatever, you're not going to understand unless you read the bottom. You have to read the bottom. Okay. So go ahead, pause the video, write your response. Okay, because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right. So what is credit exactly? Basically, it's a contractual agreement where the people, you and me, borrow money and agree to repay the lender, usually with interest. Now, I say usually because some credit cards, they'll tell you, hey, no interest for the first full year, things like that. So, hey, that's awesome. That's cool. But after that year, yeah, you're going to have interest no matter what. Um, the other thing, it's a promise. Basically, you boil it down. It's a promise and trust between you and the lenders. Okay. Now, you will build a line of credit. The more you pay back and on time. Those are the two things you have to do: pay back and on time. Okay. Um, from there, you'll be allowed to borrow more. Okay. They actually encourage it. Whether you do or don't, that's up to you, but I would suggest you don't, borrow more than you need. Yeah, you can have a good high credit limit, but just because you can borrow $5,000, don't borrow $5,000. Okay. Here's another thing too that was kind of a big thing last year. Um, a debit card, guys, is not the same as a credit card. Okay, I had a student last year who was like, "Oh well, I must have great credit because I use my card and it automatically takes the money, and so um, I don't have to worry about making a payment to a credit company, this and that." I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, they just take the money out of my account. That sounds a lot like a debit card. He's always the same thing. No, no, there's a difference between a debit card and a credit card. All right, there is a big one. We're gonna get to that in a second. Again, using a credit card only builds credit if you actually pay back the money and on time. I know this is already twice it's on there, but I'm trying to beat that into your head. That's how you build credit. It's not a big secret. Pay back the money and on time. So, what is the difference between a debit and a credit? A debit card is tied directly to your banking account. So, like that one student was like, well, every time I use my card, it took money from my account. That's what a debit card does. So, if you go and buy one of these little pop figures here, uh, the money goes directly out of your account to um, the store. Here's the problem, though. Sometimes a company does not take the money out right away. Sometimes it takes days and sometimes even weeks. Okay, I can tell you from personal experience, I bought something from a store and it took almost 2 weeks for them to take the money out. And to me, it was like, wait, no, no, no. I should have less money than that. And I had to go through my statement. And again, you can use your phone to look through your statements. And I was like, I couldn't find it because, again, they had not taken the money out. And that's where a lot of people have problems. They have $1,000 in their account. They go to 30 places, spend $100 each. They would have $700, but then let's say they get paid, right? $1,000. So they think, oh, I got $2,000. When in reality, they have 1,700. So if they go off spending, and all of a sudden all those places take out the money at the same time, it's like, wait. How come I only have $400 left? I should be having like $700, $800 left. No, because they took the money out. And that's where a lot of people get hurt. They don't keep track. And that's where we're getting when we go back to money management. If you didn't watch that video, you should really watch that last one. You need to know how much money you have, where you're spending it on, and things like that. The next one, it can be used basically wherever a credit card is used. I have yet to see a place where they say no, only credit cards are used here. I have yet to see that. Okay. The other thing is because your debit card's tied directly to your checking account, you need a PIN number. Okay, it's usually 4, maybe 5 numbers, depending on your bank and card and things like that. The other good thing about debit card, it's good for daily use to help you stay within your budget. Now, like if you forgot what I was saying about debit cards in money management, you should really go back and watch it. But one of the things I did say is um, your debit card doesn't tell you, it's not on the card how much money you have. You have to keep track of that. So if you lose track, you might be looking at your account one day and be like, whoa, where's all my money going? And you spent it. Okay. Credit card. It's a line of credit you can access with your card. Okay. You can purchases usually require a signature. Now, a student in one of my classes this year told me, well, it's weird. I buy lunch or dinner next to the place where I work, and they always have me sign. They never have me put the PIN number. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah. I was like, huh. Your card must be a debit credit card. It could be both. Because if they're having you sign, that means that's credit. That's not debit. Debit's PIN. You put the number in. Credit is they make you sign. Okay. So you can't have a debit card and a credit card on the same card. It is possible. You got to talk to your bank though, and if that bank actually does that too. Credit cards, you pay no interest for 30 days. Okay, you pay it off before then. A lot of times they say no interest. You borrowed $200 to pay for something, you paid it back within 30 days. We're good. Okay. Also, your credit card is needed when you're reserving a hotel or reserving a car. They will ask you for a credit card, so you will need it for that. All right, so the next part, or for the next question today, do you think having a lot of credit cards is a good thing or a bad thing? So think about it. Think about stuff you've heard from your parents, your mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, whoever. And if you ever remember them talking about credit cards, you know, they make it sound like it was a good thing to have a bunch of them, or was that a bad thing to have a bunch of them? All right, so take a minute, think about it, write your response, okay? Because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right. So what can good credit get you? I get this question all the time. And it's basically like, what can't it get you? Okay. Number one thing, number one, low interest rates on credit cards and loans. Okay. When you borrow money, again, the bank or whomever you're borrowing money from, they're going to want interest. It's like, yeah, Pay us back the money you borrowed and a little extra. That little extra, if you have a good credit score, it will be low. Okay, when you take out a loan, your percentage interest rate will be low. Next big thing is you have better chance for credit cards and loan approvals. All right, now I know you see on the commercials, you get points for using your credit card. Every $100 you spend, you get these points for you travel around the world, things like that. And then you see other ones that say like you get 3% back or 2% back, 1% back on these items, or your the interest is like really really low. If you read the little fine writing, it says on there if you're like if your credit score is good, because if it's not, yeah, you might get that 1, 2, 3%, but your interest rate's going to be extremely high. It might be 25, 30% if it's really bad. You know, typically for most people, students, things like that, who are just starting off, it might be somewhere around 15, 16%. So that's the thing. Also, you have more negotiating power for a car loan, buying a house, you know, getting a better interest rate. Because if you say, hey, I have a 790, that's really, really good. That's really good. And you can say, well, you know what? I'm good. And you can find someone else to borrow money from. Those banks, they know if you have a high credit score, you're going to pay them back. That's almost guaranteed money that they're getting back. So they're going to want you to borrow money from them. Okay. Also, you get a higher limit on your credit. If chances are when you're starting off, you get maybe $1,000 credit limit. You keep paying back, you keep building up your credit, you will get, $5,000. It is possible. 1,500, $2,500, $3,000. Yeah, you will get that high credit limit. Um, Also, it's easier for approval for rental houses and apartments. I've given this example in class. When I moved into this place right here, um, my ex-girlfriend had a really bad credit score. So when we combined hers and mine, it brought us somewhere a little below the medium, and they rejected us. So then when I said I'll do it myself, they checked my credit score. They were like, "Oh yeah, you're good," and they let me get this. I signed the lease and things like that for it. So when we broke up, it's like, no, honey, you got to go because this place is under my name. So off you go. You know. So that's one of the benefits. When you sign up for credit cards too, they look at your credit score. Oh, we have no problem if you have a really good credit score. If you don't, sorry, yeah, you're denied. You might get that. So, okay. The other thing, better car insurance rates. A student in class did verify this last one. Get a cell phone on contract with no security deposit. So sometimes you have to pay for when you get a new phone contract, security deposit. This time, no, you don't have to if you have a good credit score. And you avoid security deposits for when you get into a new place and you want to start the lights, the gas, things like that. If you do have to pay a security deposit, it might be really small, 10, $20, as opposed to 80, $120 to start up the gas, and lights, So good credit, it does really help. All right. So one of the things I get asked a lot too is how does the credit score, how do they find out the credit score? They're based off 5 things, and it's on the chart right here. Your payment history, the amount you owe, the length of your credit history, new credit, which means new credit cards. Yes, you do get docked for getting more and more and more and more credit cards. And the last one is the type of credit used. Okay? Those are the 5 things. Now, knowing that now, for question 2, the first part, It says, which part do you believe really hurts people the most when it comes to their credit score? Do you think it's the payment history, the amount they owe, the length of their credit history, the new credit, or do you think it's the type of credit they used? What do you think? And the second one says, the second half says, 10 years from now, where do you truly believe your credit score will be? Now, mind you guys, I've been working on my credit since I was like 18. Okay. I've been doing a lot of things right. The highest I've gotten just before I got my car in August was 796. When you get into the good and green excellent area, you don't jump up 10 points, 5 points, some of that. Sometimes you only get 1 point or even sometimes nothing. You stay the same. Okay. So it's really, really hard to get to the 850s, 800s. It takes a while. It doesn't take 5 years. That's ridiculous. No, you're not going to get credit score that high, that fast, unless you're like a multi-millionaire. You're not going to do it. Okay. So where do you truly believe your credit score will be? Okay. So pause the video, think about it. Okay, because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so now we come to it. If you are starting off, which a lot of you guys will be, some of the little tips that you can do is honestly buy small things with your credit card and pay it off immediately. So you just say get your credit card. Take your mom and dad out for lunch or dinner. Take your abuelita, things like that. Take them to dinner. Hey, I'll pay for that $80 dinner, that $120 dinner. I'll pay for it. Put your credit card down. Pay for it, sign the paper, boom. The payment comes in, pay it off. 2 payments. Do it in 2 payments. If you need to do 3 payments, fine. Do it in 3. But be sure you pay it off. Okay? Do not buy, a $1,500 thing when you can't have it. That's where it gets to the next tip. Only buy something if you have at least half the money to pay it back at the time you're going to buy it. Okay, so I had a student in class say, well, I wanted to buy a part for my car. It's cost $1,200. Okay, save 600. Okay, save 600. Okay, and then buy it at least 600. If you want to save more, but at least 600. So when you pay, you get it, you get your first statement, boom, pay $200, $300. The next payment, boom, pay $200, $300, whatever it is. Next payment, boom. By now you should have the other $600. Pay that off. $200, $300, and the next one, and then the last payment will be the interest, which will probably be like maybe, depending on your credit score, maybe $200, $300, and boom, there you go, finished it off. Okay, so that's the thing, guys. Make sure you have at least half the money. Okay. Also, never ever pay the minimum. Okay, never pay the minimum. The only time you ever should is, let's say something happens, something drastic happens. You're in an accident, you're in the hospital, you lose your job, things like that. Okay, I get it. That's life. You can't afford it. Pay the minimum then. But do not make it a habit. Do not make it go, well, I'll just keep going. I started, so might as well. Oh, I can't afford it now. I did before, so I'll just continue paying the minimum. No, you're just making excuses. You're trying to justify it in your own head. Do not do that. Go back to paying what you were before. Minimum payment should only be, truly, truly dead emergencies only. The other thing is, don't max out your credit cards. Do not max them out. Okay. If you are allowed to borrow $1,500, do not spend all $1,500. Because here's the thing. Did you have $1,500 before? No, you had to borrow it. So do you think you're going to get it in 1 month like that? Chances are no. If you did, then why'd you borrow the money? Okay. So do not max it out. If you have $1,500 limit, make it your limit a 750, half of it at most. Again, you should be starting small, doing small things. PlayStation, $500. Okay, I can see that. That's a pretty small purchase. It's a little expensive, but for my taste buds, so it's considered small compared to other things like a wedding ring. Okay. Once you've developed your credit and it's gotten bigger and your interest rates gotten better, because again, remember when you start off, you're going to be hurting. You're not going to get the best rates. You're not going to get the best interest rates at all. Um, you have to start here, and then are you going to go down on your credit score, or are you going to go high on your credit score? That's where it's up to you. Now, once you do have your credit rating and it's all going pretty well, then just keep this stuff in mind. Pay your bills on time. Pay it on time. Okay. Make frequent payments. If your payment is due on the 16th, why wait to the 16th? If you got the $200 now, pay the 200 now. And then let's say the rest you owe for that payment is $180. Then do the 180 or do $200 again. Pay a little bit more. It doesn't hurt to pay a little bit more, guys. The next one, dispute credit errors, because I hate to say it, we live in a digital age where people can duplicate your information. They can pull out credit cards, things like that, really hurt your credit score. If that's the case, tell them, hey, that's not me. I live here. Chances are that credit card is from another different place, and fight it. That works two ways. One, you're fixing your credit score by getting this erroneous knock on your credit. You're fixing that. The other thing it shows the credit people is that you are watching your credit score. You're watching to see, making sure that that your score is good, that is going higher and things like that. If you're making the payments on time, and a little extra, things like that. They know, okay, this person's watching. Okay, so we can't not if they're paying time and things like that. Hey, maybe we should keep it going. Knock it up a little bit. Okay, they're not gonna do it like 50 points, but maybe one or two. Especially if you get higher, really high. Yeah, you're only gonna get like 1 or 2 points. The other thing is use a secured credit card. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Capital One. Okay, but if you get something from Old Joe Muffler Shop down the road, he has a credit card. No, no, do not get that. Okay, because on that small paperwork, it tells you what they can do, and one of the things they could do is say like, if you missed the payment by a day, they they can tell you we want the whole payment now, and if you don't produce it in such time, they can sue you. Okay, and that's why I asked you back in the advertisement lessons, um, do you read the terms and conditions on your apps? And a lot of you guys, I mean, almost every single one of you guys put no, you don't read it. And a lot of you guys said that you would continue not reading it. So if you want to read that, what makes you think that you're actually going to read what on the credit card little paper when you sign up for it, that you're going to read all that little fine print and some of that? You're not. You're not. And you're going to fall, I mean, basically step into a thing of mud, and whose fault is it? You. If you try to go to court saying, no, this is not fair, things like that, they're going to tell you, is that your signature? Yeah. Case closed. You should have read it. You signed it saying you read it. So there you go. All right, so the next one is the three C's of credit when you borrow a large amount of money: capacity, collateral, character. Okay, capacity is your ability to pay back the loan. You cannot get $1 million loan if you're only making, $1,000 a paycheck. That's not going to work very well. I'll tell you that. Okay. The other thing is collateral. This is your assets, your anything you have that's worth money. Okay. So for me, I mean like my cars. Okay, that's worth some money. Maybe these little pot figures. Maybe if you collect them all and you sell them at once, I mean, could could get some money. You know, not hundreds and thousands of dollars, but some. Several couple $1,000s. Next one, character. Your reputation, your credit history. Are you reliable and are you trustworthy? Do you pay back your money in time and things like that? Those are the three things they see. I know in this graph there's more, um, they have conditions, capital, things like that, but um, yeah, but we're mainly focusing on the three C's here. Now, who are these credit companies? Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, Innovis. These are the main ones who lend out money. Now, I put this last one at the very, very bottom because I had an argument with a student last year and it just drove me nuts because he swore, I mean, I think he would put down money down that the government controls the credit score. Yeah, the government controls it. Guys, they don't. You know how you know? Because the government borrows money from these places. The government's just like us. They borrow money, they have to pay it back, or they get their credit knocked down. And then it'll be harder for them to borrow money. So yeah, the government does not control it. But again, that student was so that I had to put that down this year. Okay. So, all right. So this is kind of like in the future thinking. Okay. Between capacity, collateral, and character, which one do you think you will need to work on in the future? Do you think you'll need to work on your capacity, like how much money you make, so that you could pay back big loans? Do you think it'll be collateral? Do you have anything worth of value that you need to start getting, valuable things, cars, stocks, stocks and bonds and stuff like that? Or do you think, hey, I need to work on my character, I need to work on my credit score, so that's really good, things like that. Which of those three do you feel in the future more than likely you will need to work on? Okay. All right. So we're gonna move on. Okay, so pause the video, write your response, because we're moving to the exit ticket in 3, 2, 1. All right, so here's your exit ticket. How confident are you that you will be able to maintain a good credit score? Do you feel very confident, like, heck yeah, I can do that? That sounds like no problem. Easy, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Or are you more like, oh, I don't know, because I'm the kind of person when I start freaking out, I might just forget to pay stuff. I might have a good memory. I might forget. Okay. So tell me, how confident are you? Or you can answer the second one. Why do you think so many people have bad credit scores? Using what you've learned today, justify your thought process. Explain to me, why do you think that? Okay. So, once you are finished with the exit ticket, you're done for this lesson. Okay. So, hopefully, guys, you really listen. Hopefully, you take this stuff in because, again, this stuff, credit, it will follow you for the rest of your life. Okay. So, with that being said, you guys take care, you be safe, and I'll see you guys later. Okay.